What's the #1 key to success in academia? Stick around and find out on this brief episode of Navigating Academia. What's up, everybody? My name is Dr. Phoenix Singh, and I want to welcome you to this brief episode of Navigating Academia, your leading source for guidance on how to be able to advance your career in academia. As always, I appreciate the love, so please do take a second now to like and share this video with your friends, with your colleagues, with your students. Subscribe to our channel, hit that bell to be able to make sure you get notifications whenever we upload new videos, and comment below. You can also follow us at these social media accounts. So, today I want to share with you what I sincerely believe to be the #1 key to succeeding in academia. Academia is a blood sport, and a career in it can be immensely fulfilling. You're going to have very high highs, and you're going to impact people's lives for the better. But at the same time, you are going to have low lows where you're questioning why you got into this career in the first place. The #1 key to success is understanding that you are standing on the shoulders of giants if you are in this career. And you're standing on the shoulders of giants insofar as before you got there, there were scholars and ideologies already in place. And because of that, these scholars and ideologies, they deserve a lot of respect for laying that foundational groundwork that you're going to benefit from. But, and this is a very important but, they do not deserve blind reverence, nor the assumption that they are inherently infallible, or that these individuals who have been in the field much longer, that they necessarily know better about everything than you do. People in power tend to want to stay in power, and unfortunately most want you to do well, but they never want you to do better than themselves. So if you want to make a name for yourself in academia, you have 3 options, and this is key. Here are your 3 options. We're going to use a basketball metaphor here. Option #1 is you sit on the bench until it's your turn. I remember I was still in graduate school at the time, working my butt off to be able to make a name for myself in my field, and there was a scholar who has been there for quite some time, etc. Some people would say that he's a big name scholar, and he came and sat me down and he said, we need to have a serious, conversation because I care about you. This is how he framed him caring about me, so he wanted to give me some life advice, and he did this on 2 separate occasions. And the life advice that he gave me was to, and in his word, right, is shut the F up, was the life guidance that he gave me. And he actually wrote this on a coaster for me to be able to take along with me. How kind. Now, this coaster I carried with me for years and years as a reminder of what not to do in terms of supervising and mentoring other people. Now, the way that he framed this when he sat down and talked to me was exactly what I just said, that there were people who were in the field before me and that they have paid their dues by waiting for many years, applying for many grants, etc., and that they should get access to opportunities before me. So as for me, I was rallying to be able to get grants, I was rallying to be able to, give speeches at conferences, I was rallying to be able to be the guest editor of journals. The idea was that I should somehow limit myself in terms of what I was pursuing just because there were people who were already in the field before me. In other words, to sit down and, in his words, shut up. So that's option #1. You can do that. You can sit on the bench and you can respect that there were people who came before you, and you can simply have blind reverence in terms of being quiet and letting them dominate the field, and eventually they'll die or they'll retire, and then it'll be your turn. And they will probably like you because you are being very quiet and following them and probably co-publishing with them, etc., which is going to help your career by having yourself associated with them. But essentially what you're doing is being quiet and sitting down and following. Option number 2 in this basketball metaphor is you can leave the court. You can just cut it. You can essentially say, you know what, I'm just not going to play this game. The people in this are way too cliquish. There's too many drawbacks to this field. You know, you don't perceive people as being supportive of you, and because of that, you say, you know what, I think I have a lot of talent. I'm going to take this talent elsewhere. And that is so unfortunate that a lot of people in academia feel like that. They feel like they're not being properly appreciated and that they're putting so many hours in and working so hard, but there's already this establishment there that they don't feel accepted by. Maybe a big name person was not their supervisor. Maybe they didn't go to one of the best schools, but they're very hardworking and they're willing to put the effort in, but they don't get access to those opportunities. So leaving the court is number 2. Finally is option number 3. And option number 3 is that you take a spare ball, in this basketball metaphor, and you go and you start your own game on your own court. Now, this is the strategy that I used in many ways because I had to, because otherwise there was no way for me to be able to really get ahead. You know, I had a supervisor who was in a different country than I was, and so because of that, he attended very few conferences in the country that I had moved to, and because of that, I didn't have a lot of connections here in the United States, which is where I settled down. I didn't have access to a lot of resources that I may have otherwise had, networking, social capital, resources, as if I had had somebody who was a big name scholar in my country. And this was very challenging for me. And as I tried to network with people in my field, some people were absolutely incredible. And they're the people that I went on to work with and have strong relationships with, of course, to this day. At the same time, there were individuals who only wanted to work with other people from their university or people in their network. These were former students or friends of their supervisors or people they went to graduate school with. These cliques end up forming and they can be very tight-knit. And if somebody not only doesn't like your work, but for whatever reason doesn't like you, maybe you're somebody like me, you're very passionate, but instead of them seeing you as somebody who, you know, really can do a lot of good by working with them, they end up seeing you as kind of a young, upstart, rebellious person. You have a lot of energy and you want to do a lot of big things. They could be threatened by you, which they'll never admit. It could be whatever it is, but it's something where you may need to just go off on your own. You may need to say, you know what, I'm not getting invited on any papers. I'm going to invite other people on papers. Nobody is getting me a book deal to be able to do a book with them. I'm going to get my own book deal. You will need to do it yourself. And if you can build those skills and become a leader, all of a sudden it's going to go from the point where you're waiting to get invited to being identified in the field as somebody who is the one who does the inviting. And this is very powerful and gives you a lot of cachet. It's definitely more lonely, I would say, and it definitely takes a little bit longer than if you kind of had those resources in the first place. But if you are somebody who's very passionate and you're being told by a field, and fields are very different, right? If you're being told by a field to essentially sit down and shut up, and you're somebody who's very passionate, you need to make that call on what you want to do. And this is the key to success, in my opinion, is deciding which of these 3 options you're going to take. And if it's option number 1, there's nothing wrong with that. If you decide to leave, there's no shame in that. And if you decide to set out on your own and do your own thing, make sure to leave a trail behind you to ensure that people who come after you see that it is possible. And this is something that I'm very passionate about. It's why I made this series for you. I made this series for you so that you actually have breadcrumbs to follow, and hopefully with enough clarity to actually make a practical difference in your career. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching. I want to hear from you in the comments below. What's your number 1 tip for how to succeed in academia, or a key question that you feel like people should ask themselves before getting into the career field? Don't forget to like and share this video with your colleagues, your friends, and your students. Subscribe to our channel and follow us on social media. If you're interested in one-on-one career counseling for how to be able to strike out on your own and really make it big in academia without a lot of social resources, without knowing a lot of people, being from a smaller university, whatever it may be, please do schedule a one-on-one consultation with me via this website below. Signing off, everyone. Have a great day, and remember to get out there, take chances, and be your best self. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here as always. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more in this series on navigating academia, please click on one of these links over here to be able to view more original content. I hope to see you there.